The palace was no longer a quiet cage. It had become a chessboard, and Malmo was now a player. Ever since Jinshi uttered her mother's name, everything shifted, silent and visible. Always watching, never touching, Malmo needed allies. But who could she trust? Maybe Xian could provide the guidance Malmo desperately needed. But upon her arrival, she found concubine Xian in a state of distress. Her usually pristine courtyard was in chaos. Servants were scurrying about, whispering urgently what had happened. Why was the normally composed concubine so distraught? Betrayed and sold into slavery at a young age, she refused to let her circumstances break her. Instead, she turned her pain into power, becoming the most formidable player in the deadliest game of all, the Game of Thrones. But her story is not just about power. It's also a story of love, loyalty, and vengeance. As she navigates the treacherous waters of palace intrigue, she must confront those who wronged her, all while trying to stay true to herself. Will she succeed in her quest for justice, or will the darkness of the palace consume her? Find out as we continue the story. As Malmo stepped closer, she noticed a discarded medicine bottle. Its contents, a sedative commonly used on restless patients. But why would a concubine need such a drug? Was someone trying to silence her? Had she stumbled upon some palace secret? Or was it something personal, a hidden pain from her past catching up to her? Intrigue filled Mamao's mind. Who wasn't a pawn in someone else's game? No, it was a strategic move, a silent power play. You see, the emperor was quite fond of noble consort Li, often visiting her chambers for tea and conversation. This had naturally irked the other concubines and consort who felt sidelined and jealous. They saw Li's favor as a threat, a challenge to their own status and ambitions. Now, with the emperor away on a hunting trip, these women were paying a courtesy call, but their true intentions were far from polite. They were gauging Li's strength, assessing her vulnerabilities, looking for any sign of weakness they could exploit. Little did they know they were being watched, observed by a silent witness, noble consort Li's adopted daughter, Princess Rong. She understood the undercurrents of the palace better than most. She knew that her mother's safety, her very survival, depended on her own keen observation and lightning-fast reactions. First, there was the emperor. Beloved by the people, revered as a deity, but how much of that was real? How much was carefully crafted by those around him? Then there was Jinshi. Loyal, powerful, yet reckless. He played a dangerous game, balancing on the edge of the sword. Beside him stood his grandmother, Empress Dowager Zhao. Ruthless, cunning, she held the real power, maneuvering from the shadows. And then there was concubine Xian, beautiful, graceful, yet with a hidden steeliness in her eyes. She moved with elegance, always aware, always watching. Malmo had seen it before, that look. She knew it well. It was the look of a survivor. Finally, there was noble consort Li, kind, gentle, a favorite of the emperor. But even she had secrets, a haunted look in her eyes that belied a strength Malmo had yet to see. Each of them played their roles, each had secrets. And Malmo, the outsider, was about to be swept into the maelstrom of their hidden agendas. The way the guards looked at her. The way eunuchs spoke in half-sentences when she entered a room. She was still a servant on paper, but in truth, she was being watched. And Wade. Her favor with Jinshi had become a double-edged sword. It kept her protected, but also made her a target. And the first blow came swiftly. A noble consort beloved by the emperor suddenly fell ill. The symptoms were strange. Tremors, nausea, and blurred vision. Every palace physician was baffled. Until Malmo stepped in. She examined the lady's surroundings. Smelled her linens. Studied the ink on her calligraphy brush, and there, hidden in plain sight, was the answer: lead poisoning. The brush's handle, painted with cheap pigment imported by a certain minister, was laced with lead. Each day, as the consort practiced her graceful calligraphy, she slowly poisoned herself. But here's what disturbed Mama the most. This wasn't an accident. This was precise, calculated, and meant to leave no trace except one that only Malmo could uncover. It was a message. Someone in the court had crafted this as a test, not for the consort, but for her. Jinshi confirmed her suspicion. They wanted to see how far your eyes can see, and now they know. He didn't look pleased. If anything, his expression was colder than ever. Malmo realized something terrifying. She wasn't just part of Jinshi's plans anymore. She was now part of others' hidden factions. Ambitious nobles, enemies in silk robes. each one playing their moves in silence, and Mao Mao, the apothecary girl from the red light district, was now in the center, not by choice, but by blood, by talent, by fate. The game of shadows had begun, and losing meant more than death. It meant being erased without ever being remembered. To survive in this palace, one had to be a ghost. Malmo decided to visit concubine Xian. After all, they shared a unique bond, a silent understanding forged in the crucible of pain. Noble Consort Li was expecting visitors, a group of influential ladies-in-waiting. Their arrival was not merely a social call. This is a tale of survival, of one girl's rise from the depths of despair to the heights of power.